Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Welcome to another part of Aptitude for CSIR NET series. Today in this video we are going to talk about another important topic, that is data interpretation. Now every year if you will see CSIR NET paper, you will find out at least one question from data interpretation, and it's not at all difficult. Okay, there is no mathematics involved as such, means no major mathematics involved. Basic calculation like plus minus or sometimes percentage calculation you have to do in order to solve such questions. And every year, like consecutively, you will find out this topic, like question from this particular topic. All it needs to read a particular graph properly and to answer the question which are asked from there, right? That's what the data interpretation means. And data interpretation of gate is little bit on the tougher side compared to CSIR NET. So CSIR NET is quite easier, on the quite easier side, right? So that's what I'm going to do in this video. As we have already done in the previous parts of this series, I'll be taking some questions from the previous year of this data interpretation, and based upon that we will discuss them, and then I will give you a question as a homework question to solve, and also I will solve the homework question of the previous video. Right, so that will be the same pattern. And if you are new to this channel, not subscribe the channel yet, please do consider subscribing it. Also, if you like the video, please give it a like. And now let's continue with our video. Right, so the topic data interpretation actually does not require any equation, formula, or any such prerequisite thing which I should explain you. But what I'll tell you is how you should actually approach for it. First of all, always try to find out this question in your question paper in part A. Always try to see where data interpretation is there, because it's super simple question to be solved. Okay, next important thing is read the question carefully. Okay, read question carefully, because many times students, they don't read the question properly, what is asked and what is given, they don't read about that. For example, sometimes they ask you increase in percentage and you don't answer the increase in percent, but you just tell what is the increase value. Okay, so in that way you might end up getting a negative marking in that. So that's why reading the question carefully is very important. Second thing is that try to read the graph. Okay, read the graph or whatever table is given to you, and then try to answer it. Okay, try to answer. So this, if you follow these yeah, if you follow these three steps, you will end up getting a correct solution of the question. Okay, so I'll straight away go into questions and I'll take some of them and I'll show you how to do them. All right, so here is a question from CSIR 2022 exam, actually June 2022, which happened recently in the month of September. And the question says that the stacked bar chart shows the participation of graduating students in various games in successive years. Which one of the following games has the largest participation from 2001 to 2005? This is the graph, and this is a bar chart graph which is stacked. Stacked means the graph is one on the other. Okay, so from year 2001 to 2005, various sports are there: cricket, swimming, athletics, badminton, tennis, given with different colors, and based upon that, reading them, you will have to tell that where you have largest participation, means maximum number of students, which sports they have participated into, right? So we just have to look for what? We have to look for tennis, we have to look for tennis, we have to look for cricket, we have to look for badminton, and we have to look for swimming. So athletics you don't have to worry about. Okay, now I will zoom the graph a little bit so that you understand what exactly is being asked. So if you look upon it, how to read the graph. If I talk about for 2001, if I tell you what number of students followed tennis, so that number, see, each of this each of this unit or each of this line is representing 50 numbers of students. So since it is crossing two lines, it is 100 students. Okay, so basically 100 students are being shown over here which are following tennis, right? Now there is a very small unit for badminton over here. So how you will interpret that? See, from here to here it is 50 and it is somewhat like 1/5 of that, so this is 10. Okay, you can consider it as 10. Then if you look at this particular value, so it's like the yellow one. Okay, it is in between of these two, it is slightly more than this and slightly less than that. Okay, so what you will say that since it would have been 100 but slightly less than from like 10 less than here, so that makes it 90, and 10 less than from here, so that makes it 80. So yellow color means swimming is 80 here. And when I go for this, so it is like 10 and 10 20 and slightly more than that, so 20 sorry 50 and 50 100 and 10, so 110. Okay, so like that you have to interpret this graph and tell the values. Okay, so I'm going to write down the values of these sports according to the years. Okay, so we will first of all talk about tennis. Okay, and we will be talking about in the year 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004 and 2005. Okay, so in 2001 we have already seen there are 100 students who follow tennis. If you go for 2002, you will see that only one block is filled, so that means 50 students. In 2003 you will see that one block and half of the other block, so you can consider it somewhat, or if you zoom that and see, so that looks okay. So this looks little bit like twice of this number, right? So 10 and 10 20 you can consider over here. So 50 plus 20 is 70. Okay, in 2004 if you see, so yeah, so it is like 50 and 50 100, and then this seems like 20 more, so it is like 120. And in 2005 you will see this is half of this block, so the full block was 50, half of that is 25. So that's how you got the values for tennis in these years. Similarly you have to do for, so overall it will be 100 plus 50 plus 70, you just have to add them. Okay, so it will be like 17 50 120 120 120 will be 240 340, and then it will be 365. Okay, so 365 is the value which you got for the tennis. Similarly you have to do for other sports as well, just read from the graph. Okay, so let's say the next one which I am going to do is badminton. Okay, so badminton will always be less. Why I am saying so? Because if you look upon the values also, now they are mostly small, right? Over here if you see in 2001 the value is just 10 units, in 2002 it's like somewhat around one block, so I can say 50. In 2003 if you see, so it has one block here and it has one block here, slightly more this side and slightly more this side, so 120 from this side and 10 from this side, I will say 130 here. Okay, over here it's very small, 10 I will say, and over here it's like somewhat half of that, so 25. Again you just have to add it up, so 130 and plus 20 will be 150 plus 50 will be 200, and plus 25 will be 225. Okay, so you got for badminton. In the same way you have to calculate for swimming, so you have to look for the yellow ones, right? So swimming, so if you look upon swimming you will find out that from the first box it is slightly less here and slightly less here, so it should have been 100, but 10 reduced from here and 10 reduced from here is going to make it 80. Okay, in 2002 again it is very small, you can consider it's like, if this green one is 20, this is twice of that, so it's somewhat like 40. Okay, you have to take some like average value or some value which you are getting, like some approximate value. Over here see, it has one full box, second full box and little bit more, so 50 50 100 and slightly more is like 110 more, and over here it's again somewhat like 20 or 30 also you can consider this. Okay, then comes the next one which is somewhat like 40. Okay, it's not more, so if you count them out you are going to get 80 plus 40 is 120 plus 110 is like 230 and plus 70, so it is going to make yeah, 80 plus 40 is 120, 230, 260, and this will be make it 300. Okay, so this is going to become 300 now. Now the last one is cricket. These are purple ones, so over here you will see that it is slightly less than 2 boxes. Okay, so I'll do cricket. Okay, cricket here. So from the first one I will get slightly less than 100, so 90 from the first box. In the second box again the value is very small, somewhat like 10. Over here again it is slightly more, let's consider is 20. Over here it's quite equivalent to a single box, let's consider it 50. And in the last it is containing one full box, half box and half box, so it will be somewhat like 100 over here. If you count them up, so 100 plus 100 is 200 and 270. So like that you have got, and you will yourself see that the numbers are quite more or quite large when you are doing it for when you have counted it for tennis. So the correct answer will be tennis. So like this you do data interpretation of all the values. I have done all of them to just to show you that how to do it, but by looking itself you will find out that in all of the graph there is a quite greater value of this light blue color, which suggests that tennis should be the correct answer. But yes, numerically also I have just cross checked it. Okay, so this does not take much time, just you have to analyze and do, and you can easily get 2 marks in the exam. Right, so let's take this question. It was asked in CSIR 2020 exam. Okay, the question is based upon this particular graph, and it says that the trends of two quantities over 5 years are shown in the graph. Okay, which of the following are valid inferences? Now the thing is, from the graph there is no year mentioned and there is no value mentioned. Okay, but the statements which are given is like the mean value of the quantities is nearly equal. It says the variation in the two quantities is nearly equal. Third says that the quantity 1 varies less over the given period of as compared to quantity 2. Okay, so which of the following are the valid inferences? That's what you have to tell. So it can be A only, B only, or A and C and A and B. Okay, now let's try to understand. See, what you can do for these type of question is you can understand that these are the years. Okay, like these are the values of years given over here. They can be any year, and on this side the values or the quantity value is given. Okay, now these value can be anything. Okay, you can consider any value, and based upon that you can do. Now one thing you must know, that if a graph, and this thing I have discussed in the speed and time graph as well in the class of speed and time, there also I told you that if something does changes something like this, let's say, so in that case this particular value does not have much variation, means the values are quite near, right, like they are not changing much. Whereas if there is a value which is starting from here and going to some higher value, okay, so there is a variation from this point to this point. Okay, so that's how we understand the variation point. Means variation means from where the values have started and from where it has ended, so how much they have changed. Okay, so based upon that, statement number B, which says that the variation in the two quantities is nearly equal, is incorrect. Okay, because if you see the variation which is happening in the first one is not much, whereas the second like quantity number 2 varies a lot. It starts from very low value and it reaches a very higher value. Okay, so that's why statement number B is incorrect. Now you can simply cancel the options which have B as one of them. C statement says the quantity 1 varies less over the given period as compared to quantity 2. Now again you can infer it, like if something is varying less, so that's what it says, that quantity 1 varies less. Okay, so this is quantity number 1, it is changing less. The change which is happening is within this limit, right? So the changes are less over here compared to quantity 2, where the changes are happening between these two bigger values. Okay, means the broad range is there for quantity 2, and for quantity 1 the range is very less. So that's why statement number C is correct. Now if statement C is correct, B is incorrect, and you were left out with option 1 and 3, which option will be correct? Of course option number 3. But let's try to understand about the mean value. Okay, so it says that the mean values of the quantities is nearly equal. So how to find out mean value? Okay, see, the mean value which we get is basically the average of these values. So if I have a graph which is going something like this, okay, going something like this, let's say I'm just drawing a random graph, so its mean value will pass through something which is central to this, like this. Okay, so this will be the mean value of it. Means whatever change or whatever variation I told you, that it was varying between these two limits, so the mean will pass through the center of this. Whereas if I have one more graph which is basically going like this, let's say, okay, like this. So its variation is happening between these two limits. Where will the mean will go? So mean will go from the center of the variation. So this is the mean graph. Okay, so same thing if I want to show for this particular graph. So how I will do that? So for this graph, if I have to show, I can simply say that for graph number for quantity number 1, okay, if this and this is the variation line, so the mean is passing through the center. Okay, yeah, this is the mean line for quantity 1. So I'm calling it as m1, means first mean, whereas the second quantity is varying between, sorry, it is varying between these 2 points or these 2 quantities. So its mean should pass through the center, which is going to go like this. So this will be m2. So it says that the mean values of quantities are nearly equal. Yes, they are quite near to each other. So that's why statement A is also correct, and that's what makes statement number or option number C as the, so yeah, that's what makes option number C as the correct option and the other options as incorrect option. I hope this was clear to you. Now let's take another question and see how to solve that. Okay, so this was a question asked in CSIR December 2019 exam. It says that the graph depicts the petrol prices in rupees per liter for the month April, May and June. Okay, so April is shown with this like white color, May is with black color, June is with little shaded region. There are four properties given: opening date price, closing date price, highest price and lowest price. Okay, now there are statements, let's look upon them. They are asking pick up the incorrect statement. The first says that the highest price never crossed 75. So highest price is given by this graph. Now 75 is this line should tell you 75. See, it has crossed, it has crossed 75 for all of them. Like it has crossed for, not in April but in May and June it has crossed. So that means that this statement is an incorrect statement. Let's see the other one. Statement 2 says that the largest difference between the highest and lowest price was for the month of June. So if we look for the highest price and lowest price difference, and if we see that, so this is the highest price, this is the lowest price, so the difference is somewhat this much, whereas the highest and lowest price for May is this, so the difference is very small, and again the difference for April is also less. So the highest is for June. So this statement is correct. Third says month of June showed the largest decrease in the price between the opening date and the closing date price. Okay, so the opening date price is so high, closing date price is so less, so there is a quite big change. So yes, it shows the highest change. Next is all depicted prices lie between 70 and 80. That is also correct. All the prices are lying between 70 and 80. So this is also correct. Only incorrect statement is statement number 1, and that will be your correct answer. So this is how you have to see and interpret the data based upon the graph. Now is the time when I will give you a question so that you can also practice, you can also try it out, and I'll give you a question from previous year of CSIR NET exam. So try it out, and the question will be as follows. Alright, so this will be the homework question for today's video. It says that the gross domestic product, which is GDP, and the total population of the 4 countries is given A, B, C, D, okay, in the approximate unit as shown in the accompanying figure. So here is GDP, here is population. Now it says countries with highest and lowest per capita GDP are. Now you have to understand what this per capita GDP is. So you have to tell for the highest and lowest both. First of all, let me tell you that per capita GDP is basically GDP divided by population. Okay, population. So for highest per capita GDP, you should be having highest GDP and lowest population. Okay, and for lowest per capita GDP, you should have lowest GDP and highest population, means inverse relation. So this should be lower and this should be higher based upon that. Okay, so considering this thing which I have just explained, try to answer this question. I'll tell you the solution of this in the next video. Till that time, you can just mention the whatever solutions you got of these question in the comment section below, and I'll try to look upon them, and also I will be telling you the correct solution in the next video. Alright. Now is the time when I should tell you the solution of the homework question asked in the previous video. So in the previous video, which was on areas and ratios, there I asked this question where it says that ABCD is a rectangle and O is the midpoint of AD. Okay, P and Q are the points on AB respectively, such that AP is equals to 1 by 4 AB and DQ is equals to 1 by 4 DC. Ratio of area of rectangle ABCD to that of triangle OPQ is. Okay, that's what being asked. So how to do that? First of all, we have to consider the length and width of this rectangle. Okay, so let's say that the length of this rectangle is L. Okay, this is total L and this is B. Okay, B is width. So if this is AD is B, of course PQ will also be B, and since this length AP is 1 by 4 of AB, so this will be L by 4, right, from here to here. And if I look upon this triangle, I draw this triangle separately like this. So in this triangle, this is O, this is P, this is Q. So PQ is of B units and this is the height of the triangle, right, and this is equals to L by 4. So if I try to find out area of triangle OPQ, this will be given as half base, that is PQ, into height. Okay, into height. So if I put the value, it will be half into B into L by 4, and this whole thing is going to become B into L by 8. This is the area of triangle. And what about area of rectangle ABCD? So that will be given as length into width. So that will be B into L or L into B. Required ratio will be area of ABCD divided by area of OPQ. So this is L into B divided by B into L upon 8. This and this is going to get cancelled out. This 8 will come up and your answer will be option number 3, which is 8. Alright, so this is how this question needs to be done. I hope you understood and I hope many of you have got the correct answer for that. So that's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and these are my different social media links. If you guys want me to follow over there, want to connect with me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter or on LinkedIn, these are the handles. Links for this social media platform is also in the description of this video, so you can follow those links to join me on these platforms. So that's all from my side for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We will meet in another part of Aptitude series. Till then, take care, bye bye, keep preparing for the exam. Hey guys, so Unacademy has launched a Revise India series. It is a free video series for CSIR NET June 2023 exam. In this series, you will be able to attend free sessions by the India's top educators for CSIR NET. These sessions will be very helpful for your CSIR NET preparation and for your June 2023 exam. So all you have to do is follow the link given in the description of this video. You will come up to this particular page. There are various educators whose classes you will be able to see. All these classes are free of cost, so you can watch these classes. You will be able to see the classes of all the subjects over here. So depending upon which subject you belong to, you can choose a particular class, a particular educator, a particular topic, and watch that particular class.